How's it going, everybody? Hope you guys are having a fantastic day thus far. I got a super special, super hyped video for you guys today. We got the exclusive kit reveal of Magneto Phoenix Force. This character looks absolutely bonkers. He's of course going to be joining Omega Red Phoenix Force and the anchor character Phoenix to tackle everything in Cosmic Crucible, and their reworks pretty substantial too. I really think this team's something special. And with the same release structure as the Undying team, you can expect this team to get revitalized once every year. Around this time, a new Phoenix Force character will be released for at least the next 2 years, which means the relevancy of this team is at least 3 more years. If they're not the #1 team in Cosmic Crucible, they're probably not dropping below the #3 team in Cosmic Crucible for 3 years. If you like Cosmic Crucible, invest in these guys now. Even without high star levels catch up eventually. All right, let's jump into the kit, starting with the word from the developers. The Phoenix Force team is getting even stronger with the arrival of Magneto Phoenix Force, alongside updated versions of Omega Red Phoenix Force and Phoenix. This heavy hitter is expanding its reach in Cosmic Crucible, so prepare for the firestorm ahead. Alright guys, for the duration of this video, I'm just going to call him Magneto, and I'm just going to call Omega Red Phoenix Force Omega Red to trim down the word count, okay? Let's jump into the actual kit itself, starting with Magneto's traits. Villain, Global Mutant Blaster, Phoenix Force, and Epic, boasting a speed stat of 126. This does make him the fastest base speed character on the Phoenix Force team, which is interesting, because if there's no speed bar, he'll go first and he's going to kind of lay the groundwork for his allies. But of course, with this 3-man team, depending on which allies you bring in that are not named Phoenix Force, he's probably not going to go first. 126 is a pretty middle-of-the-road speed stat. Let's jump into the basic. Attack the primary target for 200% piercing, and deal 10% of this character's max health as damage and apply disruption for 2 turns. That's big. 200% piercing is a really high multiplier for a basic, and 10% of his max health is going to scale a lot because he is, of course, a post-Winter Guard character. Keep that in mind. These multipliers, they're going to hit even harder than what we're used to. In Cosmic Crucible, he will call Phoenix Force ally with the highest damage to attack the primary target. While there's currently an event where you can earn up to 5 diamonds for Phoenix, that's going to give her a crazy damage stat. If you then make her a skirmisher, and then you do a Magneto basic, that triple tap is going to rip. That's going to be so much damage. And then when Magneto is forced to attack a ally, if they're a mutant, it's going to do less damage, and he's not going to do the disrupted effect. Very cool stuff. All right, this character does have 3 awakened abilities: the basic, the special, and the ultimate. So his awakened basic is going to add 5% of his max health as damage, and it's also going to give an additional 50% damage to his Phoenix Force ally on that assist. Very cool. His ISO attack, it does the piercing, it does the percentage damage, and it also does the disrupted, and it does less damage if they're a mutant character. And if you have the Awakening ability, it again adds 5% of his max health as damage. Pretty cool stuff. I do have some animations for you, so let's check those out here together. First time I'm seeing it. Ooh, that little like firestorm tornado. I like that. Well, they did say prepare for the firestorm. All right, and now I have another one for you. Oh, look at those balls too. Really cool stuff. Hey, the art department does not miss, and you see Phoenix getting the call in to assist there. Signs of things to come, I think. Signs of things to come. Let's go ahead and jump into the special. You could use this turn 1 if you're using him on the offensive side, but on the defensive side, his ultimate is also a turn 1 ability. High energy cost, 8 on the special, 9 on the ultimate. So on his special, he'll clear all barrier on all enemies. He'll attack all enemies for 300% damage, and deal 10% of his max health as damage, so again, more max health, and then blind for 2 turns, so he's blinding all enemies. Now, he doesn't have that traditional Magneto grouping effect that like Invisible Woman has, but he still is keeping that blind, and it's for 2 turns instead of 1. Crazy stuff. If Phoenix or Dark Phoenix is an ally, clear all positive effects on each target. If Omega Red Phoenix Force is an ally, apply 2 bleed for 2 turns to each target. It's unavoidable, cannot be blocked or counterattacked, and in Crucible, if there's 2 or more Phoenix Force allies, it gains 100% piercing. So now we're at 300% damage and 100% piercing. That's going to crack. That's going to be big damage, and his health percent on top of that as well. Alright guys, there was a slight change to the Awakened passive, so sorry about that quick edit. We will have one more of those in this video. So the Awakened special is going to deal an additional 5% of Magneto's max health as damage, plus it's going to apply trauma. Let's go ahead and check out the animations on the special ability. It's so cool. I wish you guys could have seen my initial reaction to that. The Sentinel head just floating in out of nowhere and laser beaming is absolutely crazy. You got to give it up to the art department. They don't miss when it comes to our game. Check that out. That's so cool. The ultimate Phoenix Polarity. This is a 9 out of 9 ability, like I told you, so you can use it turn 1. The Aeon defense will use this turn 1. Flip all positive effects on primary and adjacents. Attack primary adjacent targets for 280%, and again, dealing 10% of his max health. So that is a theme for this character. He's dealing damage based on his max health. It'll apply 2 bleed for 1 turn and trauma for 2 turns. So regardless of what ability you do, if you have the Awakened special, you're going to be getting trauma on the enemy early. I like that. In Crucible, if this character has 2 Phoenix Force allies, reduce the ultimate ability energy of all enemies. This is such a disgustingly powerful effect that they have not reached into this well very often. It started with Star-Lord T'Challa, who was the answer to those dreaded tech raids back in the day. And then they did it for Big Time Spider-Man, which, as you guys know, if Big Time Spider-Man gets that ability off, it's rough. So Magneto is going to be kind of doing this effect that a lot of Crucible rooms do, where it steals your ultimate ability energy. That's going to make countering this team very, very difficult. It will also then reduce the speed bar of primary and adjacent targets by 25% and apply silence for 2 turns. So now you're getting trauma plus silence plus those bleeds plus flipping positive effects. That's crazy, because we know what like OG Omega Red silence trauma is doing in war with the Winter Guard team. So it is now in Crucible from Magneto Phoenix Force. That's crazy. It's going to come with 3,000% extra focus. It is unavoidable and cannot be blocked. Yeah, it's going to land. You're getting those debuffs. All right, then we got the Ultimate Awaken. This is going to be a nice increase in damage, so 350% piercing now. And again, a 5% bump of Magneto's max health as damage. With this guy's new stats, both on the damage and the health front, this is going to do a lot. And again, turn 1, I love that. What also matters that this is a turn 1 ability is the counters get applied by the Awakened ability too, and Omega Red Phoenix Force and Phoenix herself will have those counters protected by Safeguard. So very, very powerful stuff there. But what's more powerful is, of course, going to be the animations. Let's check it out. What's Magneto got for us today? I like that little magnetic firestorm. And then the beams of death with the X formation. Again, our art department is something special. All right, guys. A character is only as good as their passive, so let's check out Magneto's passive. Brotherhood of Phoenix, that's a funny word. On spawn, apply immunity for 2 turns to self and all Phoenix Force allies. Bonkers effect. Listen, when you have Phoenix Force on defense, this is why everyone puts Quasar with them. Quasar gives them the immunity, so Magneto is doing that. We don't have to use Quasar there anymore. And that's awesome. So the Phoenix Force team now essentially has what we used to call the Infinity Watch on spawn buffs. Immunity on spawn, defense up on spawn, Safeguard up on spawn. That's huge. On enemy turn end, reduce the duration of 1 random positive effect by 1, plus 1 additional random positive effect per Phoenix Force ally. Then bury yourself and all Phoenix Force allies for 10% of this character's max health. This is such an anti-Alpha Strike effect if I've ever seen one. This is awesome. If you try and tackle this team with like a Yo-Yo Daemon Guardian, Yo-Yo goes, and then Magneto's like, no, I'm going to take that offense up away from you. Also, I'm going to give barrier to my allies. This is going to make the team extremely tanky. And it looks like it's based off his health, so having a big Magneto Phoenix Force will be very beneficial. All right. In Crucible, if this character has 2 or more Phoenix Force allies, enemies cannot gain assists now or speed up. So if you're going to try and beat this team with Odin, you're going to have to use your basic. Otherwise, you're not getting your battlefield effect up. Enemies cannot fill or reduce speed bar for themselves, allies, or enemies, and enemy speed can only be increased by positive effects. The speed of all allies can only be decreased by negative effects. This is the trifecta, okay? I often talk about the 3 different ways to manipulate speed. Speed up, slow. speed bar increase, speed bar decrease, speed stat increase, speed stat decrease, which is really just OG Emma right now. Magneto's passive covers all 4 of them. So basically, when you have Magneto on the field, you're telling the enemy team, we're doing this, you know, gloves off, fisticuff style, okay? Base speed versus base speed, kit versus kit, no speed manipulations. That's pretty crazy. And he's not doing it to his own team the same way like Captain Britain stops his own team from getting speed bar, right? So it forces the enemy to also bring all these effects in, or you can hit them with an OG Emma. Your Omega Red is going to be getting out to speed bar. We're going to see the other Phoenix Force characters get a bunch of speed bar through other means as well, speed stat as well. So Magneto is saying, I got us covered. You better come correct. Crazy passive. Absolutely crazy passive. All right, we got the concept art for Magneto. I always like these concept art because it's like a pretty goofy first stage. The color scheme feels weird, but it's also very comic booky, right? But then I can actually show you what all the art is going to look like from the finished concepts, and like, does it get more epic than this? From the goofy concept art to the epicness of this is crazy. I love that, as the opener showed, I really love this Phoenix Force behind him. It's so clean. It's so just like power radiant. Yeah, it's pretty sick. Pretty sick stuff. The art department, like I said, they never miss. All right, let's quickly go over some of these reworks. So Omega Red is getting a 110% stat buff across the board. This brings him up to those Winter Guard stats. Insane. Insane how hard this guy is going to hit now. So his basic, they basically added to apply assist now to one random Phoenix Force ally instead of just Phoenix, because it used to just be a 2-person team. So same thing with the special, they added that he's also going to give offense up to Magneto, and he also added that he's going to be clearing the negative effects and all vulnerables from Magneto as well. So instead of it just being Phoenix in the kit, which it currently is, it's now all Phoenix Force allies. His passive is, of course, also going to be giving Magneto that safeguard on spawn. So a lot of what they did is they just sort of gave Magneto all the sort of protections that Omega Red was giving OG Phoenix. And this makes a lot of sense, and this will obviously carry over to the coming characters for the Phoenix Force team. And yeah, what I was talking about earlier is this line right here. If this character has Phoenix or Dark Phoenix ally, this character and all allies cannot gain trauma, and enemies cannot gain safeguard. This is a huge part of this kit. This is what makes this team incredibly dominant. When I can protect my buffs with safeguard, but you can't, and you can't protect your debuffs with trauma, that's huge. Absolutely huge. And with now the Magneto stopping all the speed shenanigans, this is going to be a monster of a team. An absolute monster of a team. All right, now let's go check out the Phoenix updates. She got pretty big jumps along the way as well. So health 110, damage 110, armor 130, focus 116, resist 111. So bringing her up to those Winter Guard levels. Now, the ultimate for Phoenix in Crucible, this part was added. If this character has a Magneto Phoenix Force ally, it is now unavoidable and gains 30% piercing. So that 400% damage with her new damage stat plus 30% piercing is nothing to stiff your nose up at, okay? All right, then we have the Phoenix passive, where Increasable, this character has Omega Red or Magneto ally. This character and all Phoenix Force allies cannot gain stun. That is part of her awakened ability, I believe. Then we have Dark Phoenix stat bumps as well. So we got health 120, damage 110, armor 111, focus 110, and resist 110. And this I thought was a really nice bump here as well. So for 2 random Phoenix Force allies, fill speed by 50%, clear all the effects and heal those allies for 25%. So this is the part where Phoenix dies, Dark Phoenix pops up, she starts with 100% speed bar, she does this special. If the enemy has not come correct to stop speed bar or didn't do like a perma kill to make sure Omega Red can't come back, that 50% speed bar is an absolute loss condition, and you're just gonna get rolled. So very, very powerful stuff. And then the final part from the passive, if let me just get this up here. All right, here we go. In Cosmic Crucible, if this character has an Omega Red Phoenix Force ally or Magneto Phoenix Force ally, clear exhausted on all Phoenix Force allies. Essentially what that means is if there's a Mephisto and he puts exhaust on you, your Phoenix goes down, she goes dark, no more exhausted. So there's so much going on with this team's kit, particularly this Magneto passive. It's so bonkers. So he's stopping all the speed manipulations that can be used against you. He's then giving you barrier on any enemy turn and stealing their buffs, well, rather removing their buffs. That's such anti-alpha strikeness. It's crazy. I can't believe how powerful this passive is. And then they throw onto it out of turn damage. So on any Phoenix Force ally's turn, steal 10% health from the most injured enemy and redistribute itself. 10% of the enemy's health is actually super impactful. And because it's the most injured enemy, when Phoenix and Omega Red are taking turns, it's really targeting down one character. Bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. I can't wait to get my hands on Magneto and play with the Phoenix Force team. What are your thoughts? Are you excited for this Magneto Phoenix Force joining the Omega Phoenix Force and Phoenix to conquer Cosmic Crucible? I think it's going to be pretty impactful. This is going to be our first Crucible team with the new stats. They are a pure epic team. Pretty scary stuff. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave it a like, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. But for now, as always, stay happy, stay healthy, have yourselves a positive, wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.